So I'm gonna stop streaming. So
Hey guys.
hello.
Um, yeah, I apologize for
Hello.
the delay. I don't know what happened. I think I was abducted by aliens for like 30 minutes because I just
You're
like lost the. I just like I think that
cutting
that's
Yeah,
out.
I'm losing sound.
what's that?
Your mic's cutting in and out.
Okay. Is it still doing it?
Oh, it's better now.
Okay. Yeah, I've got like Discord updates and Steam updates, and yeah, it's actually still updating here. So I think the quality will improve in about 15 seconds. Um, okay. So the big item this week is the foliage system is now done. I
Are you supposed to be streaming real quick?
yeah.
Good call.
Screen share.
Yeah. I'm
Screen
sorry.
screen.
I was. We were discussing models earlier.
No, I'm glad you guys. Yeah, I'm glad you guys had like a lot of stuff to talk about. And we have a lot of people here today, so that's fantastic. Okay, so the big item in this week is the foliage system is pretty much done. If there are any problems, I'll certainly look at those. The performance seems like it's running like it should. I just talked to
Okay.
Yeah.
He's frozen.
Andy like earlier, and he had one scene, and the GPU utilization was 99%, which is like that is perfect. I was very happy about that, and I discovered that it's actually like really important when you're using vegetation to use make sure your depth prepass is in use because this stuff involves a lot of overdraw. So if you don't have the depth prepass enabled, of course that has to render everything like just with the depth buffer an extra time. It doesn't use the expensive fragment shaders, but it just renders the geometry to get the screen depth, and then it renders the actual visible geometry in a second step after that. And it's actually much faster when you have that enabled, especially with vegetation because there's so many layers and layers
Enable it.
of uh, of overdraw here. What's that?
How you enable it?
It is by default. There's a camera.
Okay.
It's a camera set depth pre-pass or something like that. Let's see.
Set depth pre-pass.
Yeah, there it is. So as long as you haven't called this command with false, then as the argument, then it's already on.
Okay, so but in your first person controller you don't need to input this. So yeah, if you don't change anything with this, it's by default. Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. It's almost always faster to have this enabled. Almost always. There are rare exceptions, but like you shouldn't really worry about it. Like if you're, yeah,
Is that by
Alienware.
is that on by default or you have to enable
It
it every
it
time?
is enabled by default. You would like to
Okay.
update, cancel. I don't care about Alienware Command Center. This is a Dell. It's
Yeah.
not even an Alienware.
They're the
But
same
it's
thing, aren't they?
yeah. This is a Dell G7, so it's actually a pretty decent laptop. It's like a grown up version of an Alienware.
Mm.
Foliage
Less
just
RGB.
yeah. There's yeah. It's yeah. So the foliage system is done. I decided not to write any documentation for it right now because controlling this stuff programmatically is a very rare. It's a very niche thing. All the classes are there, but I think I'm just not going to worry about it right now because I mean, there's a lot of other things that I would rather have first. The only thing you would really need it for programmatically to control these for would be like if you're chopping down a tree. So it's handy to have that. But that's probably stuff like that we can worry about in the future. Another thing is you can actually set it up so that the collision, it doesn't collide with things, but it does a trigger collision, so it detects it. And what we can do in the future is when a collision is detected, it won't affect the player movement, but we'll get we can evaluate that event that occurs. It's not through the event system, but we can evaluate that collision. And then what you can do is you can take something like a plant or grass or something and swap it out with an actual model that's doing like some kind of soft body simulation. And then so that would allow you to, when you're walking through bushes or something, the bushes can bend around you. And so you can have that, very intricate, very detailed behavior, while at the same time having the benefits of the mesh layer system. That's something I've had in mind for a couple of years. So that will be something that we can do in the future. A couple of other things I found is that let's see, GitHub Mesh Optimizer. Yeah, this one. This library that we already use, it actually apparently does handle let's see. Simplification. Mesh shading. Yeah. This library does nanite basically. So, and I figure like this kind of stuff will get more advanced in the future. So we do have a way. I'm talking about future development here, but we do have a way to do virtualized geometry. So that's something just to keep in mind in the future, in like future development. Probably something that we won't see until like next year, maybe. But that's one little point of interest. Another thing is AMD HRT. I talked before about
You keep cutting out.
what's that?
You keep cutting out.
Oh, sorry. The video will be up. Will be available later. Okay, so I talked before about NVIDIA RTX optics, that library, and that's a way to do ray tracing without it's just NVIDIA's own API for ray tracing, which I would prefer using that rather than Vulkan. And then AMD has basically the same thing. Well, it says right here that it's not, that it isn't just trying to replicate existing blah blah blah. Okay, so it's basically the same thing. Another way, and I did ask AMD about this, and they said, yeah, that's interoperable with OpenGL. So we do have a way of doing ray tracing with both AMD and NVIDIA that is compatible with OpenGL. And mesh shaders, of course, also are supported by OpenGL. So I would rather use these two different APIs and work with those than touch Vulkan ray tracing. It would be less work, and it would probably, I'm willing to take a chance on it at least. And I think both NVIDIA and AMD will probably offer quite a lot of assistance in making that work. And so I think when I came in, you guys were talking a lot about the some models from the XFORM game. Oh yeah, yeah. One more thing I want to mention is that the SCP licensing for SCP related content is more lenient than I originally thought. So SCP-5K is not giving away their source code. I went on their Discord and I asked, "Hey, where do I download the source code?" Not that I don't think they really have anything interesting, but I just wanted to see what their response was. And SCP-5K is a closed source game, and nobody's suing them. So I think there would be absolutely no problem with in the future distributing an SCP themed game, including a custom build of this editor
Right.
with some limitations. I would not do that. So having user generated content, I don't think it will make the difference between I don't think it'll make an unsuccessful game successful. But I think that if we did take the sample game that we're working on and just rebrand it as SCP and upload that, and if it got, let's say, some we start with some metric for what we consider to be, some small success, like, let's say if it gets 100 upvotes, that's our metric for, whether we should continue. If we were to hit that, then adding user generated content to something like that would have a positive effect on it.
I lost like the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, you just
I'm
went
sorry.
silent.
Let's see. I think my computer's doing like huge updates in the background.
It's not your it's not the people in your residence watching Netflix.
Let me just the door to between here and the hold on. Let me see if I can improve this a little bit. All right. I opened a door. I don't
Was
know.
it a
if that's-
lead door?
Huh?
I was saying, was it a lead door?
Yes. I'm gonna reconnect to just give me a second here.
And his shin died.
Well, yeah, if he's redoing Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but he should have just said, "All right, guys, I'll be right back," and just. Oh, I think he's back.
It says I'm still streaming.
Yep.
I see you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So pretty much, you want to take our demo project and just make it like a small game, and just put like an SDK on it, and just. So this will pretty much be like the demo. Version
Well,
of, like,
I mean,
Ultra Engine, so people can
if
get their feet wet.
if we finish this and then we decide that we want to expand on it, then turning it into a commercial game is one option. And
Right.
if it's a moderately successful commercial game, then adding user generated content would be that would be a good move. I don't want to bother with it if it's something where where it just doesn't have any users, because that's just
Right.
it's not going to magically make it more successful. The
Well,
SCP intellectual property,
mhm.
I like that because you've got an automatic, you've got a built-in audience. That is something that's very, very hard to do because nobody wants anything new. Everybody wants a remix. Everybody wants sequels.
And well, they either want the same thing but different,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. As Bob Gale once said with the Back to the Future films, they want the same thing but different.
Hmm.
That's why Back to the Future is like the same movie 3 times. But yeah,
Are there 3 or
there's 3 Back to the Futures.
did they make like a 4?
That was like a game that had that had Bob Gale involved. It was a Telltale game, and
Huh.
people consider that like the 4th movie, but it kind of isn't. But
Yeah, I'm surprised.
it is.
I'm surprised they haven't like made a recent like a poor quality remake of the
They
original.
will when Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis dies because they're pretty much saying no. They didn't even want to do a sequel to the original.
And then their kids will sell out.
Well, probably, or it just goes back to Universal. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
So we got some. How's okay? So on. Okay. So to give everybody up to speed. We're calling our project XFORM, like life form, X Files.
Mhm.
And that's just, I don't want the SCP name associated with my engine, just because I don't want to create any confusion.
Right.
So that's what we're working on, and our biggest issue, I think, I still believe, is hands. Hands are really hard. Like first person shooter hands are really hard to get right, and very few people can make them. And I guess we were at the point where Marcel was ready to start animating them, and then he just said like yesterday, he was like, "Guys, these suck. I need to redo them."
He didn't say they sucked. He said they were ass.
Okay, yeah, which I think is also bad. So I'll just trust his judge. I didn't ask him like the details of that. Let's just see what he comes up with this week. If we don't have them working by the next meeting, then I think we need to look at some other options than creating them ourselves. Because it's been like 3 weeks. But I don't think he's done these before like that, and so let's just give him some leeway, and because there's going to be some mistakes made as we get started with this. We just got the doors back from Andy. I'm sure you guys were talking about that a lot, but
Yeah. There was a lot of friction because of how I believe Substance Painter exports them out. It exports it as like multiple children, and it screws up the pivot points. So I think that with the doors, I'm just gonna extract the materials from his GLTFs and just apply it to the models I already have in game. But going forward, we gotta figure out a better way. We gotta streamline that process because
what Substance Painter moves the pivot points of the model?
well,
No, he splits the model into 2.
yeah, it splits it into multiple children. So
Oh, so and each one has a different. Can't we just collapse that in the?
the pivot point will be in the wrong place. Yeah, so there's a bottleneck there. And this is actually good good for you that we're running into this, because then you can see the issues that like people might have going forward, because I'm pretty sure not just Andy is gonna want to.
I mean, there are more different. There are different ways. So I create right now one door and I will send it to you then, and then you can have a look if this store is better.
All right, I'll take a look after the meeting. But my plan C plan is just to just extract the materials and just apply to the doors that are already in the game. But also on top of that, he sent me like, I'm pretty sure you looked at the file. There's like a lot. There's like a lot. Because he has some that are made of wood, some are made of plastic, some are made of chrome. And this is where I would tell you that I want to be able to switch materials in the editor instead of having separate models for different variants of the same model, because there's a lot here and I was kind of a little bit overwhelmed when I first like opened it. So if I could, it would be really, really cool if I can just set up one model and assign all the skins and point them to the external materials, and then under the appearance tab in the editor, I can change the material from there.
Maybe you're still going to have a lot of that would still require a lot of work because all those texture variations have to be they have to be merged into a single array texture.
Right.
So no matter which way you cut it, like it still does require quite a lot of work.
Well, can you just make like a same thing you did with the previous system? You can just make like an application to merge like materials together and just.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, but well, not exactly. We'll figure it out.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. It's kind of it's easy with the base material, but like with normals and the metallic and everything, it might be weird.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I think it will involve opening up the texture editor and then saying like import layer, and then you have to manually like import each layer. Or we could have like some kind of naming convention, but I generally don't like stuff like that because it gets confusing. About the when you're talking about the pivot points in the 3D models, what you're saying that you're going to bring the textures. You're just going to bring the textures into the existing model, but are those UV mapped the same?
Those are UV mapped. Andy did not touch the UVs. I asked and said he didn't touch them, so I can just. Yeah, so I could just extract the material into the textures and then just point the model to use that material.
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
The issue, for the doors because they're already done. But what we need to going forward, we kind of need to streamline the process of the other models, getting those in. So yeah, I can do that with the doors.
Well, we were talking like a week or two ago about like I think Andy was saying that his clients just want the textures back. They don't want the 3D models back, and that actually like makes a lot of sense in the context that you're saying that now.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is something like we need to like figure out on our ends. Like, should I get the Blender model from Marcel, get it at least in the engine, and then Andy just makes the material for it, and then I will just point the material, the already in-game models of the material.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I just stopped streaming because I'm not really showing anything right now.
I can show you like what Andy's stuff does. Hold on, I'll stream again.
Yeah, that would be good.
If you don't mind, you can see also my stream here. I'm working on LeadWorks for now, but no, because Ultra Engine is not ready yet. I hope that Ultra will be better soon. And what? Yes, if you don't mind, I'm here streaming too.
Oh, hey, Leadworks. So what what do you think is needed in Ultra for your project to wow, that's a lot of nodes.
Yeah.
What's the biggest issue that what's the thing that you need in Ultra?
Yeah.
For now, it's not a complete engine. It's quite in a test stage now, so we don't have some of the features which was in LeadWorks, like particles, like finished terrain implementation. But I heard that now it's gonna better in Ultra. That's cool. I'm test soon some of the testing versions of Ultra, which is it will be it was not ready, but that's the cool imposter system. I see that it's quite better because we don't have this blinking now at the distance like it was in Illidwerks. So it's not. We just complete work here, but if Ultra will be ready for a year or for 2 years, we are ready to port our game to Ultra as soon as it's possible.
Cool. Yeah. I think right now we're sort of in the same place we were, like, if you guys remember, like right after the early access launch in December. I was kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Things, the hard work is done and things have calmed down a bit. And then it turned out, well, actually, we need to switch the rendering back end. And it turns out the vegetation system was a lot more important to people than I originally anticipated. And so the last I'd say, like, the last 3 or 4 months since January, February have been just a scramble to get those things done. The foliage system was finished, like, I guess Thursday. So that's been with us. That's under our belt now. The only remaining features to do are particles and decals, and those are both pretty trivial. I can probably do, if I do nothing else, then I can probably get both of those done in a week. So I'm not worried at all about those. I would like to. Klepto has some nice ocean water that I think is volunteering for inclusion in the engine, probably. I would like to get that incorporated, and then cool. This reminds me of the movie Stalker. That 1970s. What's the guy's name? Tarkovsky. That's very cool. And then the last, there's one more big thing I would like to get done, and that's the GPU calling has worked so well for the mesh layer system, for the foliage system, and because of that, I would like to move all of our calling over to the mesh layer, over to GPU calling, over to the GPU, because that would get rid of the latency, and it works so well. The mesh layer system can handle like hundreds of thousands of instances with no problem at all. And so, like, a few thousand or 10,000 models in your scene would just go through that very, very quickly. What's your game called?
It's called Escape Land. It's in developing now, and we hope it will be in Steam early access in 7th June, I think.
Awesome.
I
Let's-
drop you a link to the closed beta, so maybe 1 month ago, just to check it out.
Is it on? Is
So this
it?
is the partner system that we have. It's not it's not implemented yet, but it's quite a work. So like this is a stealth action game actually, and so the partner can crouch with us and follow us for now, as you can see. And in the future, we can provide some of comments like follow the point and wait here. And this is the inventory system. Actually, this is a fake for now because after Salvation Land, if you remember this game, we restructurize the inventory system. So this is the just for a test, and we can drop some of the items to the partner, and the weight will less. And so this is some of the test levels here because it's in developing now, and there's no much to demonstrate for now. But I can just stream some of the city streets, and
Nice.
just to you can see the atmosphere here. It's some of the post-Soviet, some the post-apocalyptic too, and this is the town called Relsa, or Rail for to English on English. Yeah, so there's an one of the in early this is early piece of this town because we start develop this map maybe 2 months ago only, and there's a lot of stuff from Salvation Land like fishing, but it's all the test. It's all for the test for now because we planning to reanimate and recreate some of the features and share this this mechanic too. You can fish, and you can fish on a boat on this lake by the sub quest of this of the dweller. They will ask you to collect some fishes and bring to him, and you got the reputation up, and this reputation is important for traders in this town, and your items you can trade, you can have profit. Вот так.
Awesome. If you have a
So
link
this is
that,
the
if you have a link that you would like us to put in the video that goes up, just paste that in the chat, and I'll add it to the video description. You don't have to do it right now, but
I can also demonstrate some of the stealth section elements too. It makes some better than quite finished. It's part of the first level, so we finished this months ago, and well, где-то здесь сейчас. Sorry. So there's a stealth mission with raiders. This is the raider. They patrolling here, and we can kill him in the back or just hit him. And in a statistic of the player stats, it will be recorded that we kill someone or we just knock him out. Uh, we can wait and hit him or attack directly or using the distant knife, the like this. Unfortunately,
Awesome.
because of the bugs of the Newton dynamics, we are trying a lot of testing and implementations for ragdolls, but it's all completely not work because they're crashing the game very much. And we reported year ago on the Lidwerks forum, and I hope that this will be fixed for the Ultra too. And second one, a huge problem of Lidwerks for now for us is a collision type character controller, because I don't know why, but in a template project with which in Lidwerks contains Lidwerks, there's no any troubles with it with the monsters, i.e. crawlers. Yeah, but if we use it for custom, we made some custom IE based on this crawler, and unfortunately they dropping the FPS when they moves, and when the IE just standing, we made the system that changed the collision type to the prop collision, but when it's moving, when it's starting to move, it's switched again on a character controller, and FPS drops for 20 FPS on any of type of CPUs or GPUs. My team have modern PCs to work, and they have some about 20 FPS, 30 FPS on the big levels, and it's not about the geometry or something, or it's all about the character controller. And if you clean up this level, if you kill anyone, your FPS will slightly increase to 60.
Well, yeah, Ultra solves that problem like in two ways. One is that simply because the physics has its own thread to run on, so your physics have a lot more time to operate, and it doesn't interfere with the frame rate. But the other thing is just like a lot of work was put into the character controller to make it more performant, and then finally for like situations where you have a lot of characters, you can just use the nav mesh only without physics. You would probably use that for like a zombie game or something where you have thousands of characters. Oh man, he had a bad day. But yeah, I think you will find in Ultra, I think you will find those issues resolved. And if not, then if there is any problem, I'm very interested in just making Ultra as good as it can possibly be. This looks awesome. It reminds me of Stalker.
Yeah, maybe. It's post-Soviet too, so
just the shotgun, the double-barreled shotgun, really reminds me of it.
it's made by our crew, actually, animated and
Nice shot. Yeah, those are hard to get right.
yeah. This game in development actually for one year and 2 months, I think, we not как сказать, не торопимся. Celestial Land will made for 2 years, and it will quite как сказать, not finished, not too good as a shooter, and also we focused on this mechanic that was better in Salvation Land. So we trying to make the shooter better mechanic and stealth section mechanics and partner mechanic. In the first game, you don't have any partners because we just don't have much time to finish this system, the subsystem for AI. But here we have some of the it's not finished, but we're doing some progress. We continue the work.
Yeah, the level design is looking very nice.
Thanks. As you can see, that was the big move after the between the realities that we made for 5 years ago and drop it. It was our team work too.
Yeah, what was the cola name? The cola. What was the name of it?
Yeah.
The special drink.
Chosen One was it?
Chosen One.
I love that. That's awesome.
That's can cola can has your face actually from the avatar in the forum. Yeah. It's about your creator, the Lidwerks. So the Jonathan was the chosen one, and who's the creator who choose him? So
yeah. So I want to point out what you guys did here with the rocks on the sides of the hills here. You did a very, very good job with those. Just the way it's blended.
That was как сказать, not too easy process.
Yeah, it looks great. And for anybody who wasn't familiar with this, they invented a fake, like an imaginary brand of soda, and they had machines for it, and they created a commercial for Chosen One cola, and it's pretty funny.
We plan to return some of the elements from Between the Realities here. Also, we return the game mode called Between the Gates. That's the game called earlier. We rename it because exists the book called like Between the Gates of Reality, I think, and we play with the name and change it between the realities too. So I can. There's in this world you can use the computers, old computers. You know this. This is not quite post-apocalyptic, but it's post-flood, the global flood universe. So there's left some computers. Survivors use them. Some of the elites of this new world. And you can use it and play in the Between the Gates game in the game. So we not go far for now with this mode, but I think that we have some maps to to demonstrate some of these elements. And you, of course, you can drink Chosen One cola there to heal yourself. That's the very early prototype. Based on the sprites and some textures from the original game, but it's simpler in the graphics.
Wait, so this is a meta game? It's a game within a game?
game in a game, you can pass it and to take a reward of that. Um, um, well, as I say that this is the prototype, we just start work and there's nothing to see, but here's the weapons. Oh, that's his original weapons from the game. Yeah, the old ones from the between the game. There it's like Ingram, like shotgun, like pistol,
Yeah, like the
enemies.
PS2 effect, pixelated effect.
Um, DOS effect. I can see.
Yeah.
I can see. Yeah. Some pixel. That's actually the shaders from the forum. I don't remember the nickname of the author, but we use some of the resources from the forum and rewriting some of those and. Actually, in the game, you can change the brightness and contrast and options. This is actually the shader that controls these options. And well, we making the experiments with GLSL. I think that GLSL is good, and if when the Ultra changed the way from the Vulkan to OpenGL, I think that that's the good with GLSL. That there's provides some of the features that I think Vulkan can't do. And
Well, GLSL is used in both. It's used in both OpenGL and Vulkan. Actually, that's why we were able to switch over so easily.
okay.
But yeah, we're actually getting like way better results with OpenGL 4.6 actually. So I'm pretty pleased with that. And then I was talking earlier about there is a way for us to do ray tracing still in the future. So because NVIDIA and AMD both have their own APIs for those things. So thank you very much for showing that. It looks really cool. I think Andy also has a video. Actually, we'll have a couple of things we'll show off. This looks cool, but it would. I was just working earlier with a tone mapping post processing effect, which would I think it would kind of make this image pop a little bit more. I'll upload that today. Andy uploaded a video of his progress
Hello
with
guys,
Nuclear
and
Frontiers.
welcome to the next dev diary of Nuclear Frontiers. Yeah, it's
Oh,
kind of a while ago.
we're glad that you like
released the last one, and the reason is
it.
pretty simple.
Trying to make and complete our projects on Leadworks and Ultra in the future and release them.
Yeah,
So,
thank you very much for showing that.
Сейчас пытаюсь найти
It's
теперь
made the follow-up engine from
видосы.
Ledworks. It
Подходящий мужик
started
такой говорит,
originally
ну,
Ledworks,
ладно,
and
видно,
a few
жарко.
weeks
Yeah.
later,
I sent you
Ultra engine is
something
getting
on
released
Discord.
as a follow-up. And
Try
Alright.
the store.
So there's too much going on
Alright.
to watch it all right now.
Alright.
But
I already got everything figured out. I'm actually fixing to do it, but I'm gonna test this to see if your solution actually works. This way you can do it going forward.
okay, I'm gonna switch over to Rate Blue's stream now.
Yeah,
I'm not
fixing
sure if
to
this is the last one. I sent it to you private
Yeah, I see it. I
from
see it.
Discord.
No, I see it. I see it. I just want to see, but I was actually fixing the doors. But I want to see like, what that result was. Because I'm just using the models I have. All right, so let's see. All right, so here's this is your door that you gave me.
Oh, that looks so good.
Yeah, I don't know what you did.
I just used the Blender file and applied the textures there and export it.
Yeah, so pretty much what you're doing in Blender is what I'm doing with the editor right now. But you can see that pivot point's where it should be. And it is just a single. Yeah. Going forward, when you send me models, do this. This will make my life so much more easier. And then my collider should actually just work. Doors. Yeah, see, now my collider actually works. So I don't know if you can see that. It's a thin blue line.
I can see it.
But yeah, that's what I want. Any and all models going forward, do this like this. This is great. But I was actually fixing this model. I might actually use this model for the plastic version because I'm doing the wood version right now. So what I was doing is I was go models doors. So not that one, this one. So this is all set. This is all ready to go. This is actually, if we actually load the model in game, if we load the map, let's screen on the events. You can see that this still needs to be fixed, but this is what I want. I kind of just want the materials just to be. Just want this stops because this was using the AL the AL material I was using before, and I was using the actual wood variant. I'm just doing the wood variant because I just want one, I actually like it better, and two, I just want to see what it'll look like.
I want to ask you guys. It's not a huge deal, and you don't. This isn't the highest priority, but the collider for. I was running around in this scene earlier with some lights going, and the movement is really, really good. It's a fairly cramped scene, and like your movement, if you run around this, the movement is awesome. Like you just slide right off the walls. You can go like just hold shift and run through like some doorways and stuff. Actually disabled collision on the big door so I could run through. But if you like, I never get stuck on things. And especially like I was like jumping and running up and down the stairs in the other room, and it flowed really, really well. It actually it feels like a game that isn't based on physics, and I mean that in a good way. Like it feels like a character controller that isn't, just like, and run off and like bang your head on the side on the other stairs, and like you never get stuck on. It just flows really, really smoothly.
Well, I think that's more your physics improvements from the Legworks character controller.
Well, I did do a good job with that, but anyways, my point is, with stuff like those doorways, can we make the collider for that so it doesn't stick out? I mean, the door frame itself. Can we make those colliders so that it's flush with the wall, so it doesn't have that little? It doesn't.
It doesn't. No. Oh yes, it does. Yeah, it's using the mesh. And this was something Andy and I were talking about. Andy brought it up in the chat. If I had like something where I can just go to my shape, like I don't know go to the physics and actually just change the like Z axis to make it a little bit thinner.
Yeah,
I would appreciate it if I could just do it here instead of going to Blender and exporting a collision mesh for it.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll have some parameters that will appear down there. But this is more as a general rule. Right. Let's try to make things that don't. Let's try to avoid like small little protrusions like that, because
you can get stuck.
Yeah, and it's if the player can just like slide smoothly along all the surfaces, it just feels really, really good for the gameplay. I think that's my impression.
Yeah, and see, normally, like if I was like doing this with like Source or something, I would just make I would just add clip brushes, but I think it's just easier just to disable the closing. Yeah, because you get a little, just a little bit of a jump.
Well, point more into the wall when you're doing that.
I only need to create one.
That's what I want to
model, right?
avoid. What's that?
We need to create one model. For example, for the door, we have two texture sets: one for the plastic, and one for the wooden one, right? And
Yeah.
if I create only one, you could copy and paste them and just replace the textures, right? For the second
Yeah,
one.
that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do with these. But that's what I'm gonna do with these. And what I did is I just made a textures folder here because there's gonna be a lot of them, and I'm just going to I'm gonna do all the wood variants, and then I'm gonna do all the plastics, and then yeah. So I'm just gonna. So I already have the models for the doors already, but going forward, do what you did for the that door going forward because that actually works. And once you get, I'm just talking about like the computers and monitors and everything else.
Okay.
The doors are an exception because I kind of needed them to get scaled down. But
Yeah, very nice job, everyone. I also wanted to point out, I don't know if this was intentional, but you did something kind of clever here. If you turn around, that area where we're going to have the sprinkler system in the stairwell. Okay, so the plan is there's going to be a fire here on the left of the elevator. Where he's looking now, there's going to be a fire right there. And then on the right side, there's going to be a control for a sprinkler system. You're going to have to go and find some valve wheel and plug it in right there. And then it'll attach automatically when you get close enough. And then you'll turn the wheel. And that will turn on the overhead sprinkler system. And that will make water fall on the fire that's to the left of the elevator. And
well,
then
I was thinking. I was thinking if you fix the sprinkler system here, whether that be a fuse or a valve or something, and then you have to go behind the desk and like turn on the fire system here or something.
Well,
And
what
then-
I was going to point out was the point at which where the sprinkler system is activated. You cannot see the fire at that position, and it'll take you like a few seconds to get around to where the fire is. So when you do that, I don't know if it sounds like it might not have been intentional, but when you do it like that, we don't have to worry about any like visual weirdness when the water starts falling and the fire starts going out. We don't have to worry about if it looks right, like when the fire goes out, because when you're going to go back there and when you leave, there's going to be just the fire, and then when you come back, it's just going to be the water and a charred patch of ground. We don't have to worry about having a good fire going out animation. I don't know if that's difficult but we just sort of sidestep that whole problem.
Yeah, but but we could just like do use the move. We could just scale the particle down.
Yeah. Again, like I don't know if it's an issue at all, but I thought that was kind of clever.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it depends on how much time we actually want to get it right. You know, and I'm pretty sure people will want to like make that experience for their games, and they want to know like how do I extinguish a fire or so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make this demo like have answers to common questions like how like crouching and stairs and like again I kind of want this to be like a good demo of like saying like, well, how did this demo solve this problem? Like how did it solve the door problem? How did it solve navigation or what I mean? So
Yeah, for sure. Two other things worth noting: having the choke points between areas, whether in this case it's one way because you go back in that vent, you drop down, and there's no way back up. But whether it's one way or not, having a choke point between areas is very good. We can do some very rough. We can have like a trigger volume that you fall through, and we can do some very, very rough culling where it'll hide this entire section, and it'll show the next section of the level.
Yeah, I was experimenting that with Legos, but there was like a hard snatch when I did that. But yeah, that would actually be very useful, even for large scenes where you could just say, okay, we're done with this. We don't want this anymore. We just want to worry about like this part and that now.
Yeah, and we don't have to be meticulous with it. Like we only need like 2 or maybe 3 zones that get hidden. It's just like a very rough way to do something that will have a very positive benefit. I was experimenting with some lighting in the main lobby area, and I don't plan on uploading any of that stuff because that's more stuff that I think you're gonna probably get way more into it.
It's okay if I show some because I actually really liked like some approach.
Yeah, I'd like
I
to
have some
see
comments.
like anything, something I did or something you did.
You did.
Okay.
So this is what the tone mapping on, or
You can see if you compare the images, just whichever one. Oh, this is it. I just added an Aces Filmic tone mapping post processing shader like a couple hours ago.
all right, yeah,
It looks
yeah,
so much better. Like now, show us the other image.
yeah,
It just like
yeah,
it actually looks like this is the tone mapping. This looks like the real image, and then the other one looks like it has like some kind of gray filter on it.
yeah. I agree. This is really good. Is this dynamic light or is this a box light? Or like is this the world light? Or I guess we should call it the sun at this point. But
I used
the
I
sunlight.
used 4 box lights coming through the hole in the ceiling. I didn't use a directional light.
All right, yeah. So yeah, because I wouldn't. I was thinking about putting a light here, but I like that this adds a little bit more. We have to experiment. I was thinking about a skylight here instead of this way
Oh, okay.
because, but
Actually,
yeah,
I
I always
actually
make,
think that'll work better.
yeah, and I was like worried about adding a skylight because I imagined the scene taking place at night, but I kind of want to do like a very late evening where you get that pinkish sky, so we can have some of that pink light coming in, like when the sun's setting or something. But I don't know how that'll look.
I think
I don't think it'll.
I think it does something sort of interesting, like emotionally with the player, which we don't really have to care about that because we're making a demo. We're not trying to make the best game, but I think it's sort of like when you have an area at the beginning. This is like the most civilized area. Like we've kind of agreed. Like after this, things get a lot dirtier, and after this is where the combat starts. But when you can see the outside, you can't quite get there, but you're close to escaping. This is as close as to escape as you ever get, and then you have to go back down into the darkness, into the the dangerous areas. So it's like one moment of like almost freedom before you have to go to the most dangerous stuff.
Well, yeah, you're like it's that like going into a tunnel or cave. Like you once you stop seeing the light coming through like the entrance point, you know you're deep in. So
I was manipulating the color of the brightness of the environment probes, which I don't think is a good idea. In order to get this look, so I think I might have to do some work on my end with like improving light propagation.
yeah, the probes should be automatic because I find the probe color to be very confusing. That's just me. I
You mean
expected
changing the? What do you mean?
like the color and the brightness. Like I don't know like what is should be correct.
Well,
Or not.
the color should be 255, 255, 255, and the brightness should be 100%. Like
Right.
we get
But sometimes
if we get into manipulating the color of the probes to get the effect we want, I kind of don't like that. I would rather if they just gave us good
automatically.
results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I just want it to work.
Right. So yeah, like in order to get this brightness in here, I had to crank up the probe intensity. So I might go back in and do like it's hard to have light propagation without the light like running away with and getting like way too bright. But that's something that I definitely noticed. It's a little bit of a challenge in this room because we have like dark areas, and we also have, this area should be like fairly bright in here because you have all that
Right.
sunlight coming in.
With the tone map, do you think we should do what other engines do and just have that be like a volume? So, because obviously we want a different tone map in this area, and then when we go into like the dungeon area, we want like a different kind of tone map.
We could do that, but I'm not sure. Like, if you look at the other screenshots,
Mhm.
it just
This
looks
one?
better with everything. This is a dark area, and I'm not sure which is
Yep.
which. I think this is the tone mapping, but switch to the other image. It just looks so flat and gray.
Yeah, it's like the bloom, except the bloom. Like it does like the brightness I want from the bloom, but it doesn't make like everything too blurry.
Yeah, I feel like without this, I feel like I'm always like trying to drive the brightness up.
Right.
Like I feel like it's always like the brightness is like the intensity of the light is always weak.
Well, why? Well, if it always looks better with this tone mapping, why don't you just make it default and put it in the camera class?
Maybe, but yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, does this need to be applied before post processing or after post processing? Because it's not a. We could just put this in the default shaders.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, but then you have then people will be like, well, why doesn't my game look as good? It's like, oh, you forgot this magic shader that fixes everything.
Yeah,
what
I
I
do. I kind of. I mean, I just added this. Like, I don't know. Last time I tried tone
Yeah.
mapping, the results were terrible. Like last time I remember doing it, like I was like,
Mhm.
I don't understand what the big deal with this is. And then I just tried it now, and it looked quite good.
Probably because you actually have a level and you have like sample materials to to experiment with and everything.
Probably.
Instead of like textures from Legworks and all that.
All right. I'm actually gonna take a short break here. You guys go ahead and talk about whatever you like.
All right. Yeah. So. Yeah. So Andy, the doors are good.
But I create only the wooden one, and I sent you the textures for the other model.
Yeah. So I'm going to. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to.
Because I think copy and pasting is easier.
Yeah, I'm just gonna copy and paste these. This is. I'm gonna delete all this because this is not needed anymore, and I'm just going to get the wooden doors in first, and I'm just gonna copy and paste, and we're gonna have. And although I would like to have just one door model, for now we're just gonna copy and paste the doors with different materials, and hopefully, knock on wood, it's optimized in the future. So. One thing I
Yeah.
might do is fix the collider manually. That's not a huge deal. Also, I'm kind of interested on using emission for the glass. Do we need that, or is that supposed to be like a fake reflection?
I don't think you need I don't think you need emission.
You applied the emission.
Substance is applying this because it's needing the emission.
This is the wrong door model.
And then the model, I don't apply emission.
Yeah, but it made an emission texture.
Yeah,
That-
but you can delete the emission texture.
Okay, so if I
You
just
don't need them.
Where are you? Where are you? Yeah, that looks better. You're right. That wood looks so good. I think the door handles look a little bit too plain. I don't know. Maybe it's not that much of a big deal.
I mean, too clean.
Well, like, I don't know. Doorknobs are hard because they're made out of the same piece of metal.
It's the same, yes.
Yeah, so, but it looks like it's not finished, but it is.
I think no one will realize it.
Yeah. Well, it's fine for now. I mean,
The dentist office door.
yeah,
I like it.
yeah. And you brought up sensor factor. You brought up that you actually like this because it allows more light to come through.
Yeah, that was another
did-
like nice little touch that might have been accidental, but
Well, since I worked in an office building, there was like this hallway and it had all these conference rooms, and around the door had all these like windows and everything. And I just and it just broke up the aesthetic a little bit. But I don't know if this would need to be modeled or we can get away with brushes, but
I would probably use a model for that.
right.
Maybe. Yeah, it's. I mean, we have a lot of other things to do before that.
Yeah.
So I think it sounds like Marcel will be busy with the hands for maybe for
Yeah.
the rest of the week, for the next week.
Yeah.
What other props do you think we need in here?
Props.
The vent cover.
I need. Oh, the vent. Well, yeah. Breakable props. Are we gonna do something where like you have to like shoot the vent and it breaks, or it should just be a hole already broken?
It might just be something that you can pick up and it detaches.
All right.
I'm not sure.
Also, I need like an air duct material. I tried going online to find an air duct material. and I couldn't
Leadworks has
find
one.
Yeah, but I need like something that can be applied to the material. I guess I could use GIMP and try, but I need something that's more PBR.
If it's not, I think the Leadworks one might work if it's not too like skinned, kind of thing. You could upsample it, but it has really good normals actually.
Yeah, but I guess I'll look. I made a tool to. It was an old version of Ultra Engine, and all it does is just decompiles Leadworks texture files. So I will just use that. Take a look at it, because it might be made for that model.
Mm-hmm.
So I might.
Yeah. I do remember it working like really nicely. Like it has that triangular effect that what I mean with the normals.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also need something for the elevator. I think this is gonna be like a shallow shaft, and the idea is that the elevator crashed down, caused a fire. We might need to break a hole in here, just so it's more reasonable that the fire came out of here. And then we're gonna need some elevator doors. But the elevator shaft, I'm kind of a little bit worried about because that's more. It has to be realistic and it has to look right.
So like some exposed like pipes and wires and stuff and cables.
Well, an elevator shaft, we don't need to expose the entire thing. We just need like doors like semi-broken, and we're gonna need the elevator car, and what I imagine is that it's just gonna be like in, but like tilted on the side a little bit because it hit the absolute bottom. And we're probably gonna put like a door, like some. We have to. My issue is that unless I move the elevator door to like here, which I probably might do, because even though it's logistically makes more sense to have the elevator door here for gameplay, for like storytelling purposes, and I might move the elevator door here. and because everything is in development textures and everything's just blocked out, I can easily do that. But that's just a thought because we kind of want the fire to be here, and it kind of makes more sense if the elevator crashed and then the fire's here. So,
I haven't really thought of an explanation for why it's there. It's just
well,
fire.
That's what like we have to think.
Maybe
this
there's some
through.
propane tanks or something stored here.
Yeah, because you comically find propane tanks in an office building. I don't know.
I got propane tanks in my office building. That's how I cook burgers.
Yeah, so
There was a the great Zima, the annual Zima burger cook-off. Barbecue your entities. Grill your entities.
yeah, but I'm really looking forward to like your portal approach. Oh, that's broken. I think that's broken again. I can't resize the nav mesh. Can I resize probes? Angle. It might be broken again.
What's going on?
Oh no, this is working. I can't resize the nav mesh. Like it can with the probes.
I don't think the nav mesh its
Oh,
scale
I
is
can't
designed. Yeah, it just isn't meant to work that way.
because I don't think we need the nav mesh in the I think we should use two different nav meshes, and then we should not, and then just cut this off right before the vents because it doesn't generate a nav mesh.
Yeah. Interesting point is that we can actually have, if we don't need to do this, but if we wanted to in the future, like if we have small creatures that can fit in the vents, we can create a separate nav mesh for them, and they'll be able to navigate the whole the whole level with those different rules of their radius and their height.
Right.
So that's something we can do in Ultra that was not possible in Leadworks because it just used one big automatically generated nav mesh.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
But if you do that, you have to do one of the most requested features of adjustable character controller sizes.
Yeah. We'll. Yeah.
Or else they won't be able to fit unless you like set the crouch to always be true.
And then we can also do that for the opposite, which is really big. If we have any really big creatures, we can have a separate nav mesh for them, and so that way they won't be able to go into smaller areas that you can escape into.
Right. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know, but cool ideas. So I guess with 9.6, you're going to just worry about finishing vegetation and just bug fixes, and then maybe for 9.7 we can start implementing and fixing things needed for this project, which also includes particles and decals.
Yeah, so the big items are particles, decals, water, and GPU culling, and then there's some minor things. But I mean, I'd say that's probably like that might be 2 months of work, maybe. None of it is very difficult. The GPU culling is the only serious thing there, and that's going to be easier than what I already did with the mesh layers because that was more complicated.
Yeah, well, I think that will actually benefit the project as well. So I think like after the vegetation system, you should do like everything that will benefit this project, which will then benefit everyone else because they're trying to do the same thing.
Well, yeah, you guys are this is getting like prioritized, especially anything with the workflow. That's why
right.
There's been a lot of updates like that. What do you think are the biggest things that would help with you guys? What you guys are doing on this right now?
It's just like like I'm getting like ideas, not really like bug fixes, but like some ideas. I might post this in the bug the the features. I kind of want to select when I select items. I kind of want to have an indication of if it's a prefab or just a model.
Yeah, I thought about
Whether
that too. I don't how
yeah,
so I did add they're using a little the models are using a little chess piece icon now.
I love it.
Yeah, it made it a lot easier to separate everything out into the groups.
Right. Like I know this is a brush and I know this is a model. Now I just need something to tell me this is a prefab. And I know your selection shader doesn't like support multiple colors, but it'll be cool if like if I selected a prefab it was blue or something, and if I
Oh, that would be kind of cool.
or if it or and if it like once you get um 3D text in or text in the editor, either for like the 2D viewports and the 3D, it can have like the path of the prefab on top.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? That's just a cosmetic thing, but yeah, but
I'm thinking like maybe okay, so a couple of things I would like to add. I already found a little eyeball icon, and it's in the actually appearance already has one too. I was experimenting a little bit with. I think I want to add a flag for the a creation flag style for the tree view, and when it's and have it like called like tree view visibility or something. And when that is used, then every node in the tree view will display an eyeball icon to the left of its, in addition to the icon it has assigned. And that when you click on that, then it will sort of gray out that item as well as all items in its sub hierarchy will be displayed in like a half gray color, indicating that they are hidden. And then there'll be an event that triggers so that correlates to hiding those items from view in the map. That's one thing I would like to add.
oh yeah, so you can actually like just say, oh, I only want to like, I don't want to like, let's say like this map gets busy, but I screwed up on my shell, and I'm like, well, I gotta get rid of all these models that are in the way. Instead of just moving them out of the way, I can just hide them.
Yeah, and also you like when we move on to with the design we have here, I don't think we're going to have like in any of the views. I don't think we're going to have geometry on top of other geometry. But if we did have like like a double decker level or something, like we can hide one floor while we're working on the other one.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And then we
Yeah,
want like
I
some
mean,
texture, some material like texture animation settings
yeah,
for scrolling, and then like the skins, like you were saying. I don't think we have to worry
and
about the GLTF's format support for that because we'll just do it
no,
ourselves.
and separate emission color, so you can just so like you can so by code you can make something glow a different color without copying the
Yeah, we
material.
can do that too.
Yeah. So
Oh,
yeah,
another.
those are like. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm switching to a different train of thought. So if you have anything else to say about this,
No,
like go
I was
ahead.
just saying like the features I've been asking for like months now is kind of what I want. Like being able to see how big my brushes are in the 2D viewport, and you know, being able to hide and show things and texture me just material parameters and all that.
Yeah, and I know
Like
Andy wants some modifications. He wants an additional like. Uh, I think I'm going to do it as an. He wants a different tool to raise and lower terrain, basically. So I
right.
haven't forgotten about that. Now that the foliage system is done, unless anybody brings any problems to my attention, it's done. So with that and that stuff takes so much time. That stuff takes a lot of time. Like I'm actually like when there's a lot of updates coming out like every day, I'm usually not working as hard as when you don't. I'm usually working harder when there are no updates. Like
Yeah.
if you see no updates for like 3 or 4 days, that usually means that I'm working my ass off. If you see updates like coming in every day and it appears that a lot of things are getting done very quickly, it means I'm not working very hard and I'm just having
Well,
fun.
you're just like saying, oh, I can do that in an hour, and then you just do
Yeah,
it in an hour.
yeah. Yeah, but we're in a very nice spot right now because the hard stuff is done. There's a lot of easy, fun things to do, and I enjoy. I like adding those features for you, and then and they're easy to put out.
The problem is with the terrain, you can't
Guys, a bit
control.
of topic. Can I say something about Ultra Engine features that will help us a lot?
Well, we just had two people start talking at the same time, so let's have Andy finish his thought first, and then we'll.
Okay.
I would like to hear yours as well. So
The
Andy,
problem, yeah, the problem is that you can't control the terrain. It's really hard to flatten the terrain if you want to raise something.
yeah, I wanna add a smooth tool, a flatten tool like Leadworks has, and then also like what you're saying, like the raise and lower, like by the mouse motion. So I'm definitely like I'm in a better position to be able to deliver those features to you guys now.
I
And
think I had something else. I written something else which was important, or which I think it's important. It's the list. Yes, the list for the components in the editor. The list feature that you can create a list and add some entities or strings to it. So if you want to, for example, to make an path for an AI, so you could place some empties or spheres in the scene, and then you could insert them into this list.
yeah, I think the difficulty there is it's a very open-ended feature because it's like, for like strings are one thing, but then when you get into making lists of entities, you have like a pop-up, and then you have to have a way to select entities. So that means a pop-up in a pop-up. So it makes things a bit more complicated.
Mm-hmm. I mean, strings would already help, I think.
But I mean,
So
you can do a comma separated list right now.
Yeah, but it's a bit hard. So yeah, it's get messy really quick.
Yeah,
And
I
if you
know.
want to delete something, you need to go out. Also, I found out that if you copy and paste something in the text field in the editor, it doesn't get saved if you save the map.
I will check that out. Please,
You can create a report.
yeah. If you could, yeah, please do that makes then I'll make sure that I'm able to get to it, and I won't forget.
Just want to make the doors finish
What's that?
quick. I finish the doors really quick so that I can send them to Reap or upload it into the Git repository. Yeah, to the Git.
Yeah, Reap. Do you want that in the Git repository directly, or do you want to?
Well, since there's a lot going on, because he has the multiple skins and everything, I would rather just have a separate file and then just look at it and see how to merge everything.
Okay.
I know what I gotta do now with the doors. So it's just I'll do it after the meeting. Right now, I'm just doing cleanup work with the brushes since we figured out that this is going to be the traditional height or wall height. I'd probably delete all this.
I'm actually thinking like I think that ceiling in that I think the ceiling is really low. It feels really low.
Yeah, it feels. See, this is what I was talking about. It feels very low, but this is the traditional wall. I mean,
It's
lobby,
because the hallway is wider, so the proportions look weird. Like the ceiling looks fine inside the small offices if you go in there.
right,
It's when you come
right,
out and you've got this wider area, then that's where
all right. So you think that that'll be, so you like this,
I think
this,
this. Yeah, I think this looks a lot better.
all right.
And like
Now the
256
wall,
should be our minimum
right,
allowable height.
okay. And here, this didn't really change here. I just deleted that spacer and just brought these walls down, which there's no height adjustment. But yeah, and
Yeah,
what I
like
was saying
there
before,
it's fine. I think that's
yeah,
256. That's fine.
yeah, yeah. And what I mentioned before I forget, is, I was saying like I kind of wanted to like make maps and then make maps within maps kind of thing, but I think for this it might be because I was thinking that I can just make the dungeon area like its own map and then just import it in and then just align it to the
Mm,
vent area, but I think that's a little bit too much of a stretch and will add complexity because I don't know. I like it'll be cool, but it might be cumbersome because you'll have a map within the map within the map within the map.
I wouldn't want to. I don't think we need
No,
to. The way Valve does things, they have like 100 people working on a game, so they have to do
yeah,
things that are inefficient. We only have a few people, and you and I are the only ones who have edited this map. And my changes were very minor.
yeah.
So I think was that ERK or Storyteller? Were you saying something a few minutes ago?
Yeah, well, there's this features related. There's that will help us a lot. Uh, let me show it in a screen.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done sharing. So
I told about it in a chat. Well, there's in LeadWorks we have the MDL container, and we can simply load animation here, which we can get from the, for example, Mixamo.com or something else. Well, for the problem is where we just use the um, we simply have some pack of animations. There's a lot of symbols, garbage stuff in a name, and it's for script systems or for it's uncomfortable, at least for the game designers too.
Yeah.
So when we import some of the animations here, we can see that this artifacts in the names like this.
Yeah.
So we can in LeadWorks we can just press the button rename and change the name. That's it. So I hope that in Ultra we can do the same things simply because there's no any of animation what features like this and like extract animations with frames like this. It's
Yeah.
really important features. I think that it must be here.
Well, I'm glad that you
Must be.
find them useful. The reason it's like that in Ultra right now is because originally our plan was to rely on GLTF as our final model format. And it was actually in a meeting like this, maybe 6 weeks ago. We had a discussion about some shortcomings of the GLTF format. And the big issue was actually the lack. All materials in GLTF are embedded. There's no external materials. And one of our users was talking about he was working with a large number of models, like tree models, I think, that they were all using the same material, and that was causing him a lot of problems because if he wanted to change the material, he would have to change like 50 different tree models and resave them. So as a result of that discussion, we decided to implement our own custom file format, which includes LODs all in one file. It includes the physics collider in the file, so we're not using external files anymore for that. And it always uses, the one thing it doesn't include is it always uses external material files. Okay, the GLTF it's not terrible, but it is a fairly complicated file format. So just getting it imported was very difficult. Getting it, Ultra can save GLTF files, which is very cool. But the one thing that I have not gotten to yet was saving animation in GLTF. We already have saving animation in our own file format, which is just a new version of the MDL format that Leadworks uses. And so because we made that change, now it's a lot easier for me to bring back some of those animation features because I don't have to worry about trying to save animations to GLTF. So that's a really long explanation for why that was like that at launch. So that will be that is something that will be corrected in not too long.
Okay. Another thing, it's not critical, but I just see that the root button here it's disappeared because the functionality now is here in world settings. Okay, but the root button not as the functionality button, but the button itself. It's it was convenient to when we have some groups, some childs in parent.
Yeah, I was dealing with this.
Now,
I was dealing with this like yesterday or the day before. It is a little bit you can drag it back up to the top layer, but it is a little bit difficult. You're right about that.
Yes.
Because what I did is I went through Reap Blue's map, and how many objects do you think there are in that map?
Most of it's brushes, but
Maybe like 100.
yeah.
I see that now I can drop it in this up and
You have to get it at the very top, and I don't think it shows like a line. But yeah, I was actually like thinking the exact same thing. I was dealing with it. It would be easier if that node was back there, if there was a node for the scene root.
Okay, it's convenient actually. It's better than nothing. Okay. I think that's all for now.
Okay.
Yeah. When you duplicate a brush, should it like I was duplicating brushes and it would the brush would go out of the folder or the node it was in. Should it, if the brush is copy and paste, should it keep the node hierarchy, or should it default to?
Was it parented to another entity, or was it just placed in a group?
In a filter. Like
Okay. Well, the groups were just added last week, I think. I think at our last meeting was when I introduced them, maybe.
Yeah, but my question is, if you copy and paste, like let's say like.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, it does.
It should. I mean, it should. It should.
Okay, so I'm gonna show it to you. No, it doesn't.
Another thing that I noticed. It's a lot easier to if you have a scene that has no categorization at all, it's a little bit difficult to. I mean, it took me a few minutes it probably took me like 10 or 15 minutes to do that. and it was I knew exactly what I was doing, so it was easy, but it's a little bit overwhelming. I was kind of thinking like um, I don't know, just like ways I can automatically choose the group that things should go in. If
Well, maybe there could be an extension where you just go tools like auto auto filter or filter by type or something, and then it will just go through maps and just put everything where. I see what you're saying, but I think it should be like an extension. Like it shouldn't be by default,
yeah,
but it should be like a tool. Like we go to like tools and you go or you go to scripting and
that's what
you go
extensions
like
are great for. It's like,
yeah
we don't know if we want this to really be the real thing, but we need it right now.
yeah like create new groups and then
Sort into auto sort.
yeah.
Speaking of extensions, we have a new extension on the forum available that will export the scene as a GLTF file. We previously supported saving a single model as a GLTF, but now you can export the entire scene as a GLTF. There's your map exported to Windows 3D
Wow.
Viewer as a GLTF.
And it keeps the UVs and everything. That's great. Marcel wanted this when he was trying to get the doors and everything.
Well, now we have it. 2 weeks
Nice.
out. 3 weeks late, but that's okay. It works. That's very cool, and it works. You need the beta. You need to be on the beta development branch in order for that extension to work. But that's just another cool thing that happened last week.
This actually makes your editor more compatible with other engines or other tools now. Like if I knew someone who did a VR chat maps, and he actually used he actually used Hammer, and then he actually had to like use third-party tools to export that as a model, his brushwork as a model. But if he can just use Ultra Engine to make what he wants, and then just export as a GLTF, and then he can just import into Unity. That's
Well, we
also
had
like another.
we had somebody on the forum actually asking. The thing that prompted about this was somebody on the forum was saying that I bought this so that I could create my scene and export a GLTF. I don't know. I have no idea what he's doing with it, but
Right.
but he just wanted it as a map editor, and that's why. And I was like, oh well, we can put this together. Really, I think it was easy to finish that off.
Right.
So and what a lot of people might not know is that before there was Ultra, before there was Leadworks, the first program I ever wrote was a 3D map editor made with Dark Basic, actually. And so my old so I'd say like the old program was 3D World Studio. That was like the most popular one, and that was actually used quite a lot with Torque game engine. And that actually, as a result of that, it actually brought a lot of people to Leadworks over from Torque just because they liked the editor and they were familiar with it. So, something that has occurred to me was it wouldn't be too difficult to just remove a few features from the Ultra editor and just make something that's just a standalone map editor for making your GLTF, just exporting GLTF files. That's also a possibility.
Right, because again, I came to your engine because of the editor. I wouldn't chose Leadworks if you didn't have Hammer-like tools.
Yeah, another fun fact is, let's see, was it? I don't remember if it was Ultra or if it was. It might have been Leadworks 3, but I wasn't planning on doing like CSG tools at all. And then people were like, "No, you got to have those. We really want those." And so, I'm very glad.
Wasn't there like a community project and they were trying like to make stuff, but they were like conflicting because they had to wait for like someone to model the tunnels or the subway system or something, and then it was like holding everyone up because they had to wait for them modeler to model the level.
Well, you know how that goes.
Yeah, it's like, but it's just great that like I can go in and just shell things and just figure out, oh, how is this hallway too high or is it too low? How fast should the player walk, or and everything. Speaking of the player, I don't know if you noticed, but I went into the code a little bit, and the crouching actually works. So
I did
crouching.
notice that. You need to check if he's crouched before you let him stand up. There's a get crouched command, because just because you allow him to stand up doesn't mean he can stand up.
I see.
That's why you're able
I
to stand up in the vent.
Well, I think. Let me see. I'm getting confused on my projects because I did the same thing in Lightworks too, where I think I fixed it. Hold on, let me put that there. Where did my thing go? Oh, I wish I could just double click it and just take.
You can right click on it.
And go to. Okay, there it is. Okay. Where is it? How did it get there?
Back in the office.
Why is it? Why can I not see it? Where did it go? Why is it not highlighted? Oh, there
You're
it
right.
is.
It's just really small.
What? And I can't like tell you, oh, I want the icons to scale, but that might be more of a problem in the future. I don't know if that's good enough. All right, go over here. Oh yeah, I gotta do that.
Yeah, but once you do that, then he'll stay squatted down like that.
Yeah, I also want to make it so you can adjust the crouch height too.
So we can do what?
So you can adjust the crouch height from the component system.
Oh,
You can
okay.
adjust.
Yeah.
You can adjust the eye height. You were playing with this. You were playing with the values here too, but you were just playing with them. But it's really nice that you can, since I exposed more of these, anyone can just play with them and see it. Like,
Yeah, that actually. Yeah, I did notice that, and I was like, wow, that's a cool improvement.
yeah, so I might just add crouch height and fix crouching. Yeah. One thing, once we get the view model in, I think it will be time to actually solidify what the player is and what player can do, what they can't do, and dial how high they can jump and the fob and everything. And then
Yeah, it's I can't do anything until I got my hands, because it's just, it doesn't feel like a game, and that, I think that affects a lot of things.
all right. Crosshairs. I can do some crosshairs with I did some crosshairs. So what kind of crosshairs do you want? Do you want like the Counter-Strike ones where it's like the plus, and then every time you fire it like animates? Do you want like a F2 crosshair with just 5 dots? Do you want?
I want it to be simple to understand.
All right. I guess. Well, if we do multiple weapons, they probably will need different crosshairs.
I mean, I mean, maybe like if we turn this into a commercial game, then I'd say, yeah, go crazy. But if it's a sample, like, I mean, we're really trying to keep everything as simple as possible, because
Well, the idea is that there'll be one weapon component, and then you just tell the component what icon you want the crosshair to be, and it'll just draw it in the center of the screen.
yeah, that would be good, I think.
Yeah, I just trying to get an idea like what you're thinking like it should look like.
I don't have a
Just-
strong. I don't have any opinion on that. Really.
I'm big on crosshairs. Mm.
All right. Let's see. So that was we got a lot going on. Thank you everybody for coming. Do we have any other questions or anything?
No. No. I guess I'll put my suggestion about prefab differentiation in the form so you don't forget because I kind of wish that was a thing. Because this is a prefab. The player's a prefab, I believe.
Yeah, I was thinking
I
maybe
don't
I'm just like wondering like how should that be presented? I'm thinking like maybe like a green dot in the corner of the icon. I mean in the tree view there.
where if it's or maybe a little lock symbol, like it's like synced or something to the file, and then when you edit these files and if you break the like if this is a prefab and I change this,
Yeah.
maybe and then it will just be like unlocked or the lock will go away.
Well, so the icon
Shouldn't
the icon should be a lock. I mean like
Well, no. Well, like a green dot, just some indication where it says, "Hey, this is a prefab," or if no, what it should do is that if this is a prefab, instead of whatever entity this is, it should be a different icon. What icon? I don't know, but it should be a different icon if it's a prefab, and then once the prefab's broken, it should just default to what it would be if it's not prefab.
right, but what's a prefab? What's an icon for a prefab?
Maybe 3 boxes stacked on top of each other. I don't know.
Do we okay, so it's very useful to be able to see what kind of object something is at a glance in the tree view.
Right, but if it's
So that's why I'm
prefab,
thinking
you
like
just-
well, yeah, that's why I'm thinking like a modification of the icon that is used. Like so that we have a brush icon, we have a pivot icon, we have a model
Just
icon.
Just making box which is open, like a box, like a moving box, yes, and put the normal model in.
Are we going to be able to fit that in such a small space though?
Maybe not the open box, but a closed box or something like this. Kind of hard for prefab.
or maybe can we just change the color?
Also, like when I add visibility groups, then I plan on the icon and the text to get sort of like grayer. So gray,
Right.
like turning it gray for a prefab is not an option.
No, not gray,
What-
but like maybe
what color?
this should be like well, since the folders are blue, maybe this should be orange.
Prefabs
But
use orange icons.
Well, like no, like not or like maybe what I'm thinking is that instead of this being white, this would just be like orange or the orange you have here. Actually, hold on. I'm sorry. Trying to hold you up. I'm just gonna do this real quick.
This Blender file with the doors, I have to say it was a mess. Every item is sharing a material with each other.
I did that. Well, again, that's because of my old workflow.
Yeah. If you have some multiple objects, just assign multiple materials to them. It's more easy for the texturing.
Right. I just wasn't used to your workflow. Like
Yeah, everything is fine. It was just a bit complicated because I renamed materials, and then I was thinking, man, why is now the single door named
Right.
like a frame?
Yeah.
Well, we've got it worked out now, right?
To do, but,
Yeah.
well, yeah. So this is this is like a bad indication, but
Yeah.
like maybe like if that was a prefab. Ignore
Yeah,
the bot
I
for
know
it.
what you're saying.
Maybe, I
Something
don't know.
like that. Something would be nice.
Yeah, just be like, oh, why is this a different color? Maybe green. Maybe green will go good. I don't think I have a green here, but yeah, maybe green too. Maybe we should make. Yeah, we make it green because orange is selection. Blue is like highlight in the.
I
Yeah,
was
make this green.
I was thinking like a little like green dot in the lower right corner of the icon, maybe.
Like, I'm just gonna make it orange because
Just like maybe like 4 pixels, maybe. Like just baked into the icon itself.
I don't know why it's not letting me. Oh, because I have it hidden. So like
In the corner.
like that.
Something like, yeah, I would do lower right, but you know, like how SVN,
Yeah. Well,
let's see, Tortoise SVN kind of.
oh yeah, the sync thing and like the
Yeah,
Dropbox
yeah.
and the
Yes, yes, yes.
OneDrive. Yeah. Yeah, I thought I had one. Maybe I have OneDrive. I don't think it does it anymore here. No, it doesn't. OneDrive used to do that. It was like a big thing back in the day, but yeah, no. So like, yeah. So you just bake that into. So you just open the SVG. You just create a circle
Yeah,
next
something
to
like
it,
that.
and then you just save it as. Can you do that? You need help doing that because I can.
I think I can.
Yeah, it's just a circle.
We'll try it and just see if it sucks. Then we'll do something else.
Yeah, but I also think maybe we can also experiment with the color, like the color of the text too, make it more obvious.
Yeah,
Like,
and I think I can set the color for that specific node so it doesn't require any special changes in the GUI system.
right, and then when it breaks, I don't know if you can break the prefabs from the file, right? Like
Yeah,
if you
right now
edit
there's
something.
nothing in there that prevents you from doing that.
All right, yeah,
I'm
that
not
would be
actually, but when you save it, I'm not actually sure if it will. I think it'll still save it as a prefab, and so changes won't get resaved. So yeah, this is an area that needs to get worked out.
yeah. Like I hated in Ledworks, it asked me every time if I was sure if I wanted to break the prefab.
Well, there's good reasons for that because I
There's
mean,
good reasons. There's good reasons, but it got annoying. So maybe we should make a "Don't ask me again,"
yeah,
and then just be like, and then just have the icon and the color be an indicator, like this is no longer a prefab. I don't know. It's kind of like double-edged sword problem.
well, it's the kind of thing where you can't really design it. You just have to start using it and then figure out what you actually need as a result of just your usage.
Right.
So, all right. Good session,
Yeah.
everyone. That was super interesting. We got to see a little bit of Andy's work, and we got to see a little bit of Storyteller's work, and very, very cool stuff. Escape Land, and what is Andy's game called?
Nuclear Frontiers.
Nuclear. That's right. That's right. Escape Land and Nuclear Frontiers. Check those out if you get a chance. So with that, everybody have a good weekend, and
Yep.
I will see you on the forum.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.